Black leopard could easily have been mistaken for just another fearsome predator. But her story would eventually allow her to stand out above the rest. Living in the depths of southern Africa, her attention one day was drawn to a mysterious golden glow. The glow in question was a bright orange, human-sized giraffe who had just finished regenerating. This was cocoa powder. Her next meal was virtually handed to her. She was ready to strike until a portal opened up close by. She ducked out of sight to see another giraffe come through, a gray one who began to comfort him. Another being came through, a flying number 4. She was confused. What was this thing? Where did it come from? And how come they spoke like humans? During these questions, they went through the same portal. Not wanting to lose sight of them, she quickly padded through just before it disappeared. Black Leopard found herself in a new, unfamiliar land. It was cold and wet. She looked to turn back, but the portal disappeared. So she made a run for it into the woods behind her. She was lost, so she kept an eye on the powders whenever she could to try and get back home, but always kept out of sight from them. Her travels in her new land brought her to a mysterious sight. A group of tourists taking pictures of a totem pole in the middle of the forest. Forgetting her own species, she made the mistake of stepping up behind them. The tourists panicked and ran away in terror. A Polaroid camera fell from one tourist's hands as he ran. She sniffed the noisy device just as it spat out a picture of the totem pole. She noticed the grinning panther on the totem pole, which matched her own physical shape. But then something else caught her eye. The same number 4 was carved into the wood. Realizing who they were meant to represent, she grabbed the picture in her teeth and dashed back to where she had arrived. She could only see the gray one going through the same portal. Realizing she had a way back home, she snuck up behind him and followed him through. However, she found herself in an urban neighborhood, with the gray giraffe joining a small herd of colorful giraffes just like him. The giraffes all entered a house. She tried to make the same trip to the house, to try and stick the picture through the letterbox, but her attention was alerted to by 2 alien beings in space. The house was covered in a soundproof barrier, just as their giant blue ship came into view above the house. Black Leopard snarled and backed up, and it wasn't until the ship started firing at her that she decided to run for it. She could see a portal in the near woods that led back to the jungles of Africa. Another blast from the ship caused her to drop the picture, accidentally scratching it with her paw. She tried to go back for it, but the relentless firing simply had her running for her life. She ran through the portal back to Africa. Her nightmare was over. But this was far from the end. A tractor beam from the ship grabbed the picture for analysis. Far above the planet, the 2 realized Fresh was in the totem pole's carvings too. So they sent it back down to Earth, into Fresh's hands for safekeeping. Black Leopard knew that the totem pole was meant to represent her, so she now waits to eventually speak with these other higher beings to join their cause. And maybe someday, she will.